Good morning, folks. I'm here at the Capitol again this morning. We have a number of bills on the floor of the Assembly. We'll be starting up in just a few minutes. Their session begins at 10 this morning, and they'll be going throughout the day and the next several days. The desk will be open for amendments and changes, not just today, but changes will be and updates will be issued throughout the weekend, because again, this is the end of the session, and we'll be done at the end of Wednesday of next week, the 31st of August. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you are too. But it also means that things are a little crazy, and we just need to be giving our full attention and prayers to the work that's going on here in this building behind me. So I would ask you to do that. But a couple of questions that I wanted to answer this morning that we've gotten over the last few weeks on SB 866 in particular. The first question is, why do homeschoolers oppose SB 866? It's not a homeschool bill. Well, yes, it is not necessarily specifically a homeschool bill. It doesn't mention homeschooling in it. However, the bill addresses parental rights, which is definitely closely tied with our homeschool freedoms here in California. But also, the bill addresses the issue of children's rights and parental rights, and it does impact, I think, the areas, all areas it could have an impact on that children and parents have opportunities to make decisions in life, and that very closely could affect education. And I'm not the only one that thinks this way. In fact, Assemblyman Patrick O'Donnell, who is the chairman of the Assembly Education Committee, he has also made a statement about this, and we've posted that online that you could read there. But he also agrees that this bill, SB 866, is a slippery slope and could easily lead towards other areas of life being impacted, and homeschool families could see this in a very real way if children are forced to make their own education decisions. Then this could alter how we see homeschool laws, not just in California, but across the country. So that's something to keep in mind. The other question that I want to address this morning is the issue of how does it force students to make decisions? How does it force kids to make decisions? It doesn't force them to get the vaccines or anything like that. Well, we, in our statements on SB 866, have said that SB 866 forces students to make decisions, and it does put them in that position. It does put the burden of those decisions on kids, and each family, each kid in their own situation is going to have that be in a they're going to feel that in a little bit different sense. So you might see in some cases you'll see that pressure be a little bit higher than in other cases. In some cases there won't be as much impact because of each individual student's situation. But in some situations, and in some unexpected situations, you may see that pressure to make that decision right now. And we've seen this in the news where kids have been faced with that decision. You'll see that increased. And so these are some questions that I wanted to make sure were clear. The answers are clear because it does impact our interest in whether or not we're going to make those phone calls. And I think it's important that if you do see this as a concern, that you do make a phone call to your assembly member today to make sure that they know where you're coming from and that you have concerns about this bill, whether they are specifically related to vaccines or whether they're longer term, something that's going to be where this bill affects your parental rights in a more broader sense. So I would encourage you to think through those things and contact your assembly member today to encourage them to vote no on SB 866, because those calls do make a difference, and those legislators need to hear from you. They need to hear from you today, and I would encourage you to do that. So thanks so much, and we appreciate your prayers for the floor session today, and in the coming days. So thanks. That's all for now.